This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down, Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I can't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What? All right, everyone. Welcome back to this week's show. This is the Team of Rivals podcast on Thursday, August 26th. We're trying to make do, I think, with what's left of the baseball season and what's left of our teams and how they're performing. It is actually, it's taken an ugly turn, and I have to say that it's been 8 days since I've watched a single pitch, a single inning, anything of baseball. It's a product of disinterest. It's not protest. It's not making a statement or anything else. It's choosing to do other things because you don't want to waste your time watching something that just isn't good. And I'll liken this to certain things in another genre I absolutely love. I'm in love with a franchise named Star Wars, but there are certain things I won't watch of Star Wars because they're just not interesting to me. Example, The Last Jedi movie, Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace. Those are my least watched Star Wars movies because they're just not interesting to me. However, I'm still in love with the franchise. I think the same way about baseball, for those of you who can relate to this. And I love baseball. I love the team I love. But the product that's being produced right now is just not worth my time on any given night to invest any time in. And so, wow, what a bummer to bring this week's show in, but it's reality. It's where we're all at right now with the Team of Rivals podcast. Being Cubs and Cardinals fans, it is a tough time. It's a really tough time to watch what's going on right now. And I have Elliot with me right now. Pete will be calling in. He is on the road, so he'll be joining us late tonight. And normally he brings us in a much more positive fashion, but you have me tonight, and I'm bringing you in. How I'm bringing you in, because that's just the way I feel right now, and that's just the way it's going to be. Elliot, you're our temporary guest host, permanent, under contract to the end of the year guy.
We are in uncharted territory here, Ron, because for the last 2 decades or so, the Cardinals have always been a perennial in the NL Central and in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just this past 5-6 years, the Cubs have really made it a fun division. And now that we've got both of us on the outside looking in for October, it's been one of the other for the last 2 decades. And now it's neither. It's looking. We know where the Cubs are. They decided to blow it up, but the Cardinals didn't. They went after a couple of pieces, and the thought was, okay, let's make this push for the playoffs. But they've just been. It's been another kick the can down the road. Unfortunately,
yeah, it really has been. It really has been. There's something to be said for an organization making a choice or a decision and letting you know, and you can kind of deal with it, right? And there's another thing that's you're not really sure where they're going, and
right.
So you kind of hang on crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, which reflects, I think, what that front office has done for several years now. Like, cross your fingers, hope that next hot name down in the minor leagues will be the person who fuels success going forward, and that just hasn't been the case. They've had some nice prospects. I think some that have come up and contributed and definitely added some positives, but nothing suggests that their minor league system produces cornerstone players. It's just not what we see on the field right now that we can respond to, that we can kind of attach ourselves to. And it's lending to the problem of interest in the game. And it's not just, look, I know we can get in our silo in the Midwest and only think about Cubs and Cardinals, but we see the rest of the league, and what is being produced right now is just not interesting baseball. It's not. And when you have myself, look, let me tell you guys this. Like, I know there's some people that will hear me say that I haven't watched baseball for a week. Well, you're a fair weather fan. You're only with them when they're winning. Well, horseshit. I just gave you an example. I've been a fan of another genre forever. Loved it. Think about it every day. There's certain things about that genre I don't watch because they just don't. They're not entertaining. I'm not going to spend my time watching something that's not entertaining to me, and that's the way it is. Right. And with baseball right now, the way the Cardinals have played, the product that they put out this year, even with acquiring a guy like Nolan Arenado, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my nights watching this. I'm just not going to do it, and I haven't. So Pete is on with us now, and Pete, you don't have much catching up to do. We're just going over our I guess you could say disappointment in the way baseball has played out this year.
Did you hit the big red button?
We're not going to do that. I'm going to mute you for a while until you get in a better spot where you have a better Wi-Fi connection.
And I think I caught what he was saying. Did you hit the big red button? And the answer is yes.
It's red, buddy. It's red. It's red. Yeah.
It's red.
It's red. It's recording. I'm on it.
So, yeah,
he's walking tall right now, right?
He is big time. It's got the 3-piece on. It looks like
he owns wherever he's walking. He owns it, and so you guys will obviously not be able to see this being audio, but Pete is walking tall right now. He's looking good. He's got a little bit of a mask on. It might be an Argyle pattern, something like that, maybe.
I think so. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so
nice little red Argyle.
Yeah, he's walking to his car. He'll join us here in a bit, but Elliot and I were talking.
No,
about,
he's here.
Yeah, I know you're there. He's on a pair of Apple AirPods, which is always great for audio.
You get what you get.
I know, we get what we get. I agree.
You just expect nothing less than the highest quality on the Team of Rivals podcast.
We've led the show in on a negative note, which I think is deserved at this point. Where
for the 2021 season, absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Ron, you did remember to press the big red button, right?
We already addressed that, and yes, we did. It's red. It's recording.
Well, I mean, just because we addressed it doesn't mean that we did it.
I know, but you said it's red now. When we're not recording, it's green, which means we fucked up.
Right.
So yeah, it's been red since we started, bud. We're good.
Brilliant.
Got it.
Good.
And all right, so we're kind of talking in circles here a little bit, but this has been a disappointing season on multiple fronts. I mean, the expected teardown of the Cubs has happened, which makes the product. I mean, you might be interested in watching a couple young guys there's room now for them to come up, but they're not winning. They're not competing this year. They have completely checked out. How many in a row did they lose? Like 11, 12, something like that?
They lost 11 and then they lost 12.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about now I could sit here as my team is in contention every year and point at you guys with a bony finger and go, well, you fucking are tanking this on purpose. It's blatant. No. It is kind of blatant.
It absolutely is.
I mean, I can't really hide the fact that it's absolutely blatant.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, and I can't believe that I'm going to give him credit, but Brett Taylor made a good point on Bleacher Nation. I think it was last week. He said, No, this is not a team that you would have put together at the beginning of the season, right?
Right.
Nobody would except other than the Pirates, nobody would put this roster together. But this is the team that you're left, right? This is very different from the 2012, 2013, 2014 Cubs teams,
and Pete,
where they were just terrible.
Pete, to your point, what do you gain by putting out a team that wins 1 or 2 more games than what they have over the last 20? Nothing.
Precisely.
I mean,
and especially if you do have your eye towards the future, you are absolutely not going to take any chance.
Nope, he's connecting to Bluetooth.
I like it better when he's not. Yeah. Hold on.
He's gonna have to connect those AirPods again.
He's figuring it out.
So Ron,
I like it better. I like it better when you see his mouth moving, but you don't hear anything.
Yeah,
and it's moving so big, like his mouth is like it's just opening so large. You know, he's saying something that he thinks is important, but nobody can hear it.
See, you're wrong there. It's not something I think is important. It's something I know is important.
No,
all right, go ahead.
Go.
I was hoping you'd buy us a little more time on that one. Go ahead.
Never enough time.
We don't want you. We want you to reverse and look at that assistant backup camera. We don't want you to.
I don't have a backup camera.
This is making for really bad. This is not going to help our numbers, which are already tanking, by the way.
Well, probably because we've been telling truths and nobody wants to hear it.
Nobody wants to hear this shit, and it is amazing. And I tell you guys, I'm truthful when I said it wasn't a protest over the last 8 days to not watch any baseball. It's just I'm not willing to spend any of my time on a weekend or a night to do it. I'm just not. And you guys have probably been similar. Maybe you've watched a few innings here and there, but
I've watched some games because I know what I'm going to get. I know what the expected outcome of the game is going to be, but I'm watching for some guys. I'm watching to see if any of these guys develop that will be able to be there, or that I will assume will be there in 2022. The Ian Happ every single day thing is still infuriating, but I mean, other than that, you know, I like seeing Patrick Wisdom, you know, do the hero thing, you know, once every couple of games and smoke some bombs out of Wrigley's. So
he's excelling right now. There are like zero expectations on this team, and so he has none. Every bit of room to relax. I'm not making like excuses or headway for Patrick Wisdom. Like he couldn't handle it when the pressure was on, but he can now if the pressure's not there.
I mean, he strikes out 40% of the time, but his hard hit rate is up there, and when he connects,
oh yeah, the Cardinals
that
hard hit rate
goes.
was like number 4 in Major League Baseball earlier in the year, and you see where that's put them.
Yes.
So,
and they just lost to the Pirates. So,
I was going to get into that here in a little bit, but I wasn't going to yet. Now, I've only looked in on the MLB app a few times when I see something pop up on Twitter like, holy shit, did Mike Schultz fall asleep in the dugout and leave Genesis Cabrera in too long? And I looked up the score and I'm like, oh yeah, 8 unanswered runs, 8 runs with no outs that happened sometime in the 7th inning in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I actually happened to be checking in on Twitter as I was entertaining myself tonight at that exact moment, and apparently it happened incredibly fast. I mean, it doesn't excuse Mike Schultz, but still.
No, I look over the game day, and it's like, yeah, the bases were stacked, and there was a hit, there was another hit, and then a home run, and yeah, I get it. Like those things can pile up really fast on you, but I just really feel that the lack of urgency on this team, not only from the front office from doing anything, but all the way down to management managing games. When you let one pitcher sit in there and give up 8 runs, unanswered, no outs, I don't care how long or short it might be. Like, imagine a manager like Tony La Russa. Like, that would have went 3 runs in, and that pitcher would have been yanked quick. And you can even say Dusty may have yanked him really quick. Like, there's something about what's going on now where you're doing calculus on future games, going, oh my God, I have to I have to pitch so many other guys, and I have so many innings stacked up, and I have to save our bullpen for the next 3 games. That has this become a game of just numbers at this point, and is a human element taken out of it. When you leave a guy in to give up 8 runs like that, like what the hell is the excuse? What's the excuse?
I think that's exactly what it is, Ron. And I haven't been paying as much attention to the Cardinals, but I would imagine that it's the same with the Cards as it has been with the Cubs this year, where the shuttle between AAA and the major league club is just constant because all you're doing is trying to manage innings. I think that's a big reason why the Cubs haven't really put the pedal down on Edward Alzolay getting back, is because they figure, you know what, he's getting close to that pitch limit we were going to put him on anyway. So, there's no big rush, and we'll just bring another guy up from AAA. And I imagine that's kind of what Schilt did. Once the game got out of his way, he was like, well, might as well let him finish the inning, because otherwise I'm going to end up burning another pitcher. And he's not going to pitch Cabrera tomorrow anyway after this kind of an appearance. So let him wear it.
Yeah, and I would agree with you, except Cabrera has been one of his go-tos this year, along with Gallegos and whoever else in that bullpen. And I don't know. I didn't watch the game, so I'm kind of out of context talking about this, but the Cardinals lost against the Pirates. And when you're scrambling to just make somewhat striking distance to that second playoff game, or the second playoff team or contender,
which is now held by the Cincinnati Reds.
You know what? Good for them. They've got a payroll way less. They've managed to make it work. And I hope they make noise in the playoffs.
I mean, they can. Those guys could get hot. I mean, you've got the batters to do it in that Cincinnati lineup.
They've got the lineup to give somebody fits and just disrupt.
And honestly, I mean, at this point in his career, doesn't Joey Votto finally deserve this kind of platform to just play the heel 100%?
Oh,
at
absolutely.
the end of his career?
No,
like could you imagine him getting that kind of play finally nationally?
No, he's a dick.
And that's the great thing about him.
Exactly. Let him go.
Owns it too.
He does. And no, I agree with you guys. If Joey Votto got to make a deep postseason run and got to be a dick on a national stage, yes.
I mean, it works for Yadier Molina. So
yeah, there you go.
Let's not go there yet. That was planned for later.
I was trying to give you a segue, Ron.
Planned for later, but yeah. So Pete, I was comparing. I don't know if you were here for this. I don't think you were, but I was comparing baseball right now to The Last Jedi. I love the Star Wars franchise, equal to I love my baseball team and baseball, but I don't frequently ever want to. That Last Jedi wouldn't be my choice to watch a movie. And if somebody said, "Hey, on Friday night, you guys want to come over and watch a Star Wars movie?" Like The Last Jedi would be one of my last 3 picks.
Yeah, you know what, Ron? I agree with you. Last Jedi is a movie that you only watch when you're watching the sequence, right? Like you don't watch The Last Jedi just out of the blue. You watch it because you just finished The Force Awakens, and you're going to push all the way through to The Rise of Skywalker.
And you could probably actually just bypass The Last Jedi and go right to The Rise of Skywalker, because there's not much there that lends itself to the story. So, so anyway, that's kind of my feeling this year on baseball. Like, I don't love the Cardinals any less. I just don't like what they're doing right now, and I'm not entertained by it, and I'm not going to spend my extra time, what little I have at the end of the day, I'm not going to do it if they're putting out this kind of product, and it's really bad. It's bad. The Cardinals are really bad this year on just about every facet of the game.
They're not bad. They're average.
Well, that's the difference between your take and mine. Is that this is bad. I mean, Jack Flaherty's out again, and they should probably just shut him down.
Sucks.
Shut him down for the remainder of the year. And yes, Pete.
Oh, I was just going to say, and that's the difference between the Cubs and the Cardinals, right? The Cardinals are just close enough that the fan base isn't going to forgive them if they don't continue to push to try to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And so they had to send Jack Flaherty out to see what he could give them. If it had been the Cubs, they absolutely would have shut him down. They would have said, "That's it. We're not going to take a chance. We'll see you next season, Jack. Enjoy your rehab."
This would be clear. The new Cubs organization would shut him down if they had a future plan. The Dusty Baker Cubs would have.
Oh, if it's the Dusty Baker Cubs, he'd still be out there.
Let's not say
throwing.
the Cubs were always like this. They weren't. They would have. They would have taxed that elbow. But
absolutely,
yes. The Cardinals should shut him down. He should just. We'll see in 2022, along with you and Jordan Hicks, and hopefully we have merrier days going ahead. But yeah. So baseball for me is just so uninteresting at this point. It's like watching Attack of the Clones. I don't want to do it. Attack of the Clones is my least favorite Star Wars movie. Dialogue's horrible, uncomfortable to watch. It makes me cringe, along with The Last Jedi, along with The Phantom Menace. That's where baseball has fallen on my interesting scale at this point. I just don't care.
You know what I liken it to, Ron? And you kind of mentioned it when I was first jumping on. Is baseball right now is that thing that you don't, for us as Cubs and Cardinals fans, that you don't turn on in the background and see what's going on. It's the thing that doesn't distract you anymore at the bar.
Right.
Or that you have to make a decision. I was going to watch the game tonight. So right now it's really easy. Oh yeah, no, I'm free.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And I told Elliot before you came on, I've been watching Manifest. Binge watching with my wife every night on Netflix. I have no interest in watching baseball right now. And somebody told me on Twitter, well, you need Shohei Ohtani tonic to cure your soul. I'm like, what? Well, you don't know me very well.
Yeah.
Do you mean Shohei Ohtanic? Yeah, sure. I mean, look, I know there's interesting things maybe going on in baseball, but this sport is suffering right now. It's just not capturing my interest, and it's not capturing my 16-year-old's interest either. So I'm not alone, and I don't think that me and my son are in a silo together alone. I think this is kind of widespread. And if you looked at the Cardinals' attendance today, or sorry, not today, yesterday, when they were playing their second game against the Tigers, and a day game in St. Louis in August, there were 68 people in the bleachers. Jeff Jones counted, and he's a verified Czech Twitter guy. That is the attendance that would be there on a rain out makeup day on a weekday, which nobody had a ticket to. It's the attendance has been something that Cardinal fans can make excuses for. We can deny, but and COVID can only provide so much air cover for this front office. This team is so uninteresting right now that people are not going to the ballpark, even locally, even like a block or two away. They're not going to watch this team. Amazing. This harkens back to the mid-90s when they were so shitty. This is really bad. It's really bad. It's really bad for this team. It's really bad for the city. They're not an interesting brand of baseball at all. And it's showing in the stands, and you can't deny the pictures. I can show you guys some of them.
No.
It's
Ron, I think that it kind of goes to the point that we've talked about before about baseball reaching a saturation point, because when we were growing up, and we've talked about this a lot, you were lucky if you got to see your team once a week.
Yeah.
Most of your engagement with the team was on the radio. And then, so it was a treat to actually go to the game and see the team play and see what the players looked like. And that treat is gone now. And who's going to want to pay, $100 to take the family to the game? And that's just to get in the gates.
Right.
And then watch bad baseball. So yeah, your attendance is going to be terrible. And if the baseball's bad anyway, then you end up where you're at, where if you can see the game, you're not interested in tuning in anyway.
And there's also a theory about this Bally Sports thing where they've blacked out so many people, where they're kind of like internally they're kind of protesting. Well, I'm not going to go watch. I can't even watch this team on a weeknight play the Pirates because I'm blacked out because of Bally Sports. They don't carry my streaming service that I choose. So baseball's got a huge problem. I mean, it really does. And they just have to have a wake-up call, a come to Jesus kind of talk amongst all these entities that are trying to make money. Like, you think of Bally Sports, like you've denied YouTube TV.
Yep.
You've denied Roku. Anybody else you can think of, you've denied them access. If they can't watch their team on TV, how do you think they're going to be motivated to go and watch them in physical form? Like, they're not going to. That it works that way, and I know that's maybe counterintuitive to TV executives. Like, well, if we black them out, then they'll be motivated to come to the stadium.
No,
no, that's not how it works, man. It's not how it works. Why do you go see a performer perform at a concert? Because you like their music that you hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to motivate you to go to the stadium these days? Because you like what you see on TV.
Because they're a fun team and you expect them to win. Right. And if you don't expect them to win or be good, like I have that good product on the field, you're not going to want to go watch it.
So it's a double whammy, right? You have a shitty product on the field. Nobody wants to see it. And you black them out half the time. Well, okay. Pete, you were saying something. Sorry.
No, it's all right. And you know what? I'll go even one step further. So love him or hate him, I think one of the things that benefited baseball over the years for people who were baseball lovers was that there were a couple of teams that you could always see, right? It seemed like the Yankees and the Dodgers were always on TV in the featured games of the week. And also you had the superstations that were carrying the Cubs and that were carrying the Braves. So you were always able to watch baseball, right? If you wanted to. And so you developed big fan bases for the Cubs and the Braves that were outside of regional. They actually had national fan bases. Well, now baseball has gone in the exact opposite direction of that, right? They've gotten rid, both teams are no longer regional the way that they were. And now baseball is, you have to have MLB TV in order to stream it, but you can't stream it everywhere because depending on the blackout rules, you're not going to be able to see them. And anyway, the people who are going to get MLB TV are going to be the diehard fans like you. They're not going to be a casual fan who likes to watch the occasional baseball game. And you were able to get those people with the Cubs and the Braves. The casual fan would turn it on because they knew that the Cubs and the Braves were on every single day. And you could turn on TBS or you could turn on WGN and you could catch a game. You killed that. And so now you're only catering to the diehard fans, but you're not letting them watch every single game. If MLB's smart, they're gonna act fast and return streaming rights to the teams so that the teams can then say, you know what, we're taking off all blackout restrictions. If you want to get the Marquee app, you can get it anywhere in the United States because we want to grow the Cubs as a national team again. This is actually going to end up undercutting baseball the way that they're working right now.
Pete, and we're all sitting here screaming, like, take our money. Like, we want every game, regardless of your advertisers or whatever. Fine, show us your local ads. If we tune into the Bally Sports Midwest broadcast, show us all those ads during the commercial breaks. That's fine. Take our money. Like, we're all willing to do it, which is what's really stubborn and stupid about what's going on. Like, we're all willing to fork it over.
Don't force me to go to an ad-ridden site that I probably shouldn't be, just so I could, watch some baseball. Like,
you're talking about you're talking about some dark shit. That's not where we're going.
Well,
we're all talking about going like, hey,
and then I've got to teach my parents.
We'll pay the $150 a year.
Yeah,
just give us
it's easier.
Give us 162 games. Don't black us out.
I just want it to work.
Like, Manfred, is this fucking hard to control? Like, make a cut to the local whatever local entities that lay claim to this. I mean, it can't be this hard to solve. It really can't. I don't know.
Yeah. And then if you want to, you want to throw a bone to your national partners, then you black out the stream when it's a national broadcast, right? It's on Fox, it's on ESPN, whatever. Then black out the stream. Fine.
Sure.
But you don't black out a Tuesday night because you live in Charlotte and the Cubs are playing the Reds. That's just stupid.
The fucking Reds. That's my bugaboo right there. I don't want to talk about baseball anymore, guys. I really don't. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Do you guys, Pete, I know you're driving. You look nervous.
I'm almost done.
Okay. Does he look nervous, Elliot? He's looking around a lot, left and right.
He doesn't look nervous. He just looks like he's ready to get out of that vehicle.
He's
being a very attentive driver. I don't know about you, but I don't look straight ahead the whole time that I'm driving. I'm constantly scanning for potential threats to my safety.
Defensive driving.
That's right.
Driving.
Defensive driving. You may not be familiar with it, Ron. I've ridden with you.
So,
yes,
since,
I don't want to talk
since
about
we are
baseball
switching
anymore.
topics.
Yes, Elliot, lead us into whatever you want to talk about because I don't want to talk about baseball anymore.
Did everybody catch the new Disney Plus episode of Making of Mandalorian Season 2?
Not yet. I've had 3 late nights.
Fuck me. Really? We can't talk about this now.
Oh, we can talk about it. It's fine.
It'd be more fun if you watched it.
It really would be.
Well, what? Do we want to take an hour-long break so that I can watch it? Just start talking, boys.
Because I was really hoping for an impression tonight from Ron on.
No, you can't get one now.
No,
he hasn't watched. So, anyway, kind of a bummer.
Yeah, maybe we saved that one.
I think we have to save it. So, anyway, I think we're done. Pete, lead us out.
He just got out of the car.
I just got home. Like, subscribe. And I have a proposal for what we're going to do for the next 6 weeks. I don't know if Ron's run it by you, Elliot, but so what we're going to do is you and Braden are going to start a season of MLB The Show 21, but you're going to do it in manager mode or GM mode or whatever it's called. I don't fucking know. I don't play video games. And then what'll happen is we'll check in from time to time. Ron and I will comment on the Cubs and Cardinals seasons, and we'll comment on your moves and everything. And because obviously the gameplay is too goddamn fast for us to comment on an actual game, so we get to comment on the two of you playing. Yeah, and we get to have the trade verifier on so that Braden doesn't get to build the super team. Where he trades like Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout to the Cardinals for Ponce de Leon and a bag of balls.
That would be a good idea. I have actually been playing a little bit more with my nephews because they've been up the last couple of weekends. So
have you been able to put that on ball?
They're teaching me the ways.
The ways of the force.
That's right. So yeah, no, that'll be good. And then maybe we can kind of get into some of the Star Wars stuff and maybe What If you guys have been watching What If.
What if what?
I wish I did.
Exactly.
Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends to subscribe. We're available on Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. And be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show, 2 for 3 with Moose Michaels, Yacker Jacks, XFL, STL, and my favorite show, simply because of the name, In the Cards with A-Train Arlington Lane. Send us an email at show@teamarivalspodcast.com. You can find Elliot at
TOR_Elliot.
And you can find Ron on Twitter at
TOR_Ron75.
And with that, we bid you guys adieu. Final thoughts, Ron?
Nope. Talk to you next week.
Maybe we'll have some good stories next week.
Hope so.
We'll have some great stories. We can talk about Yadier Molina returning for yet another year.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Bye, everyone. Love you so much. Bye.